Amara was known in the village as a strong and stubborn woman. She lived in a modern village called Greenfield, a place with electricity, small shops, motorbikes, and concrete houses painted in bright colors. Welcome to Tell Forge, a place of interesting stories with life lessons. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Now the story continues. People in Greenfield respected strength, but many feared Amara because her strength came with anger. Amara was married to a man called Daniel. Daniel was calm, gentle, and hardworking. He worked as a supervisor in a small building company in the nearby town. Every morning, he woke up early, bathed quietly, and prepared for work. He never shouted. He never complained. Even when life was hard, Daniel believed peace was better than noise. But his wife was the opposite. Amara talked loudly. She got angry easily. She liked control. She believed that a man must fear his wife for the home to stand. Whenever Daniel came back late from work, tired and dusty, Amara would not ask how his day went. Instead, she would stand with her hands on her waist and question him like a criminal. "Where are you coming from?" she would ask. Even when Daniel explained calmly that work delayed him, Amara would not listen. She would insult him with harsh words. Sometimes, she pushed him or slapped him. The neighbors heard the noise many nights, but no one interfered. In Greenfield, people believed that family matters should stay inside the house. Amara treated Daniel like a servant. After long hours of work, she ordered him to wash her clothes, including her underwear. She made him cook when she was tired and insulted him when food was not ready on time. Daniel endured it all silently. He believed marriage was for patience. What made everything more painful was that Amara had not given Daniel a child. 5 years passed. Then 6. Still no child. Daniel never complained. He never blamed her. When people mocked him outside, he defended his wife. "She will give birth one day," he always said. But Amara did not appreciate his loyalty. Instead of softening her heart, her behavior became worse. She believed Daniel would never leave her because she was his wife by law. One afternoon, as Amara sat in front of her house scrolling on her phone, a car stopped at the gate. It was old but clean. From it stepped Mama Ruth, Daniel's mother. She had traveled from another village to Greenfield. With her was a young woman named Lydia, quiet, respectful, and neatly dressed. Amara stood up, surprised. "Mama, you didn't tell us you were coming," Amara said, forcing a smile. Mama Ruth looked at her without warmth. "I came because I must," she replied. Daniel came out, shocked to see his mother. He greeted her happily and welcomed her inside. Lydia followed respectfully, greeting everyone politely. That evening, the house felt different. Amara noticed how Lydia spoke softly, how she helped in the kitchen without being asked, and how Daniel smiled more than usual. For the first time in years, the house felt calm. Amara did not know that this visit would change her life forever. That night, Mama Ruth called Daniel aside. Her voice was firm. "My son," she said, "a home without peace and children is not a home." Daniel lowered his head. He already knew what his mother meant. Outside, Amara lay awake, unaware that the foundation of her marriage had begun to crack. The next morning in Greenfield was quiet. Birds sang, motorbikes passed on the dusty road, and the sun rose gently over the rooftops. Inside Daniel's house, however, tension filled the air. Amara woke up early and noticed that Lydia was already awake. Lydia was sweeping the compound calmly, her hair neatly tied back. She greeted Amara respectfully. "Good morning, Sister Amara," Lydia said softly. Amara only nodded. She did not like the way Lydia behaved, too calm, too polite. It made her uncomfortable. Amara believed a woman should be allowed to be respected. When Daniel came out, Lydia served him breakfast before Amara could say anything. Daniel looked surprised. "You don't have to do this," he said gently. "It's okay," Lydia replied with a small smile. "I like helping." Mama Ruth watched everything silently from her chair. She noticed how Daniel's shoulders were relaxed for once, how peace filled the house without shouting. Later that day, Mama Ruth asked Amara to sit with her. "My daughter," she began, "a wife should give her husband peace." Amara laughed. "Mama, this is modern life. Men must be controlled. If not, they misbehave." Mama Ruth shook her head slowly. "Control is not the same as respect." Amara stood up angrily. "Are you here to teach me how to run my home?" Mama Ruth's voice became firm. "I am here because my son is suffering." That evening, Mama Ruth spoke openly. She told Amara that Lydia had been brought as a second wife. Amara was shocked. Her mouth dropped open. "You cannot do this to me," she shouted. "Daniel is my husband." Daniel stood silently, his eyes on the floor. His heart was heavy, but deep inside, he felt tired, tired of fear, tired of noise, tired of pain. "I did not plan this," Daniel said quietly. "But my mother is right. There is no peace in this house." Amara insulted everyone. She shouted, cried, and threatened, but Mama Ruth did not change her mind. Within weeks, Lydia stayed in the house. She respected Amara, never talked back, and treated Daniel with kindness. Slowly, Daniel's heart softened toward her. For the first time, he felt appreciated. Amara noticed the change. Daniel smiled again. He ate peacefully. He spoke more at home. The things Amara once had, she began to lose, not because of magic, but because of her own actions. Then the final decision came. Mama Ruth told Amara to leave the house. "This house needs peace and children," she said. Daniel did not argue. It was not fully his choice, but in his heart, he knew Lydia was the woman he had always dreamed of, gentle, respectful, and loving. Amara packed her bags in anger and shame. As she walked out of the house, she looked back and saw Lydia standing quietly beside Daniel. For the first time, fear entered Amara's heart. She did not know yet that this was only the beginning of her regret. Amara moved into a small rented room on the other side of Greenfield. The room was quiet, too quiet. At first, she told herself she was free. No husband to shout at. No mother-in-law to question her. No one to challenge her authority. But as days passed, the silence became heavy. Amara began to remember her old life. She remembered how Daniel used to come home tired and still greet her politely. She remembered how he washed clothes without complaining and how he defended her when people mocked them for having no child. These memories disturbed her sleep. Meanwhile, life inside Daniel's house changed completely. With Lydia in the home, peace became normal. There was no shouting. No insults. Lydia spoke with respect and listened carefully. When Daniel came home late, she warmed his food and asked about his day. She never raised her voice. Daniel felt something new, rest. Months passed, and something unexpected happened. Lydia became pregnant. When the news came, Mama Ruth cried tears of joy. The neighbors celebrated. Daniel thanked God quietly. News traveled fast in Greenfield. Amara heard it from a woman in the market. "Daniel's new wife is pregnant," the woman said casually. Amara froze. Her basket fell from her hands. The words echoed in her head. That night, she cried for the first time in years, not from anger, but from regret. She realized her mistakes too late. She understood that strength without kindness is destruction. She had driven away the man who loved her. As Lydia's pregnancy grew, Daniel became even more attached to her. He took her to the clinic, supported her, and protected her. When the baby was born, a healthy baby boy, the house filled with joy. Amara watched from a distance, hidden in shame. One evening, she dressed simply and walked to Daniel's house. Her heart beat fast. She knelt down when she saw him. "Daniel," she said with tears, "forgive me. I was blind. I hate you. I didn't know peace until I lost it." Daniel looked at her quietly. His face showed no anger, only distance. "Amara," he said softly, "some doors close forever." Mama Ruth came out and held the baby. Lydia stood behind Daniel, calm and confident. Amara knew then that it was too late. She stood up slowly, wiping her tears, and walked away, this time without anger, only sorrow. Amara returned to her small room in Greenfield that night with a heavy heart. The streets were quiet, and the lights from shops flickered in the distance. For the first time in her life, she understood that loneliness is not the absence of people, but the absence of love. Days turned into weeks. Amara changed. She stopped shouting. She stopped blaming others. She began to reflect on her past. Sometimes she sat by her window and watched families pass by, husbands and wives walking together, children laughing. Each scene reminded her of what she once had and lost. She found a small job at a tailoring shop. The owner noticed her seriousness and gave her more responsibilities. Through work, Amara learned patience. She learned humility. She learned that respect is earned, not forced. Occasionally, she saw Daniel from afar. He walked with Lydia and their child, his face peaceful. Lydia remained respectful whenever their paths crossed. She never mocked Amara, never insulted her. Her kindness was silent but powerful. One afternoon, Amara met Mama Ruth at the market. Amara bowed her head. "I was wrong," Amara said quietly. Mama Ruth nodded. "Life teaches lessons differently," she replied. "Some learn early. Some learn late." Amara accepted her fate. She did not fight it anymore. Years later, Amara became known in Greenfield as a changed woman. She advised younger women with wisdom, warning them not to confuse strength with cruelty. Though she never remarried, she lived with dignity. Daniel's home remained peaceful. His child grew strong, surrounded by love. And Amara lived with one truth engraved in her heart. Love grows where peace lives, and regret follows when kindness is ignored.